Hi everyone, my name's Emily, I'm from Melbourne, and Charlotte has asked if I would be willing to do a session with you. Now unfortunately, because Melbourne is currently in the middle of winter, it's getting dark here very early. There's no way I could actually run a class with you without it pretty much being pitch black out here and making it very difficult to see what it is that I'm doing. So instead, I've agreed with Charlotte that I'm actually going to set up a little set of videos of different exercises to take you through a training session. Hopefully it works out. So welcome to Melbourne. I'm just going to start us with a warm-up, just get the body moving. If there's anything that doesn't work for you physically, feel free to modify it. Don't push yourself harder than your body can go. You know your limits better than anyone else. So with that said, let's start. So just beginning, feet apart, just relax the knees. Just going to start with the head, so turning it from side to side gently. Bringing it up and down. Taking one hand, just on the side of the hip, pulling it down towards your shoulder, stretching out with this other arm. You may want to change the ankle depending on where you feel a better stretch. And swapping sides. And just full rotation of the head, just very slowly. You should really feel the neck extending in each direction. And the other way. Taking both hands, just placing them behind the nape of your neck. And you're not pulling down the neck, you're just letting the gravity of and the weight of your arms pull it forward just to stretch along the back of the spine. And release. So just starting with the shoulders, so just gentle rotations, really feel the shoulder blades coming together. And the other way. So full arms, really feel the extension in the hands. The faster you do the rotation, the more blood's going to flow to the ends of the fingers, but take it whatever pace you want. And the other way. Bring the arm across the body, keeping the shoulder down, elbow locked. Really feel the stretch across the back of the shoulder. Changing sides. Taking both hands, linking them, and pushing out so the palms are in front of you. Just bring that up over your head and feel it stretch up the back, up the shoulder. And release. Keeping the feet wide, hands behind you so the palms are facing towards your back. And this time as you pull them up towards your shoulders, just let your body fall forward so you can feel the stretch up your legs too. So releasing the arms, we're just going to focus a little bit on the hips now. So just gentle rotations, you really want to open up the hip flexors, especially when you come around to the front here. So really push those hips forward if you can, feel them open up. And the other way. keeping feet apart, this time to sort of the upper torso. So just going to let the arms pretty much follow around. The looser you leave them, the longer they're going to stretch out as well when you rotate the upper body. So just to the side. Continuing the same movement, we're just going to pick up the back foot, let it rotate, so our hips are going to come with us, and that's just going to extend the stretch, extend the rotation of the upper body. Okay, so focusing a little bit more on the legs now, feet apart, legs apart, feet out to the side. Make sure your knees are coming out over the knees. Knees are coming out over the feet, so they're in alignment. And just pressing down gently, just as deep as you can go. It's a bit of a squat, so try and keep the back upright, your posture pulling up through the center of the head, and just gently pulsing. You should be warming up top part here. If you're finding it a bit much, bring it up a little bit higher. If you want to extend the stretch, come down a bit lower. And release. This time we're going to do a similar exercise, but we're going to do it with one foot up. So I'm just going to bring the heel up on one foot, and that's going to really just work that part of the body a little bit more. So we just come down here, raise one foot, just gentle pulse. A bit down and change to the other side. You should be feeling it now. Bring it down. Another set on this leg. And change. Okay. Let them rest for a bit. Shake them out. Bring them a little bit more closer into the body. Again, if you want to extend it out, you can, but just do what works for you. So bring your legs apart and face one foot to the side, one foot to the front. Just bring the arms out, just gently bending it over. You don't want your knee coming too far over the toe. If it is, extend the width of your legs. Just gentle. Remember to breathe. Bring those legs straight. Rotate the hips so you're facing over the foot that was going to the side. Bring your hands behind you. We're just going to try and lean the body down. Try and keep the back straight. And you're kind of aiming to get your nose towards your knee. Don't worry if you don't get down there. Just stretch as much as you can. Stop when it starts getting painful, but just let the stretch happen. So just let it fall through. So bring it back around, so this foot now comes to the front, other foot goes to the side, and again just gentle extensions. Coming up, again bring your arms behind you, rotate your hips, and try and bring the knees, the nose, to the knee. Bring that up. Feet apart. Legs wide. Feet out to the side. Knees coming over. Again, we're just stretching out the hip flexors. If you can come down to put your elbows between your knees, do so. Otherwise, just stay up here. That's fine too. What you're trying to do is just push back a little bit. Again, opening up. If you can, just shift it side to side slightly. stop in the center, rotate the feet around, and just grab your elbows and let gravity help pull your back foot down to the ground. Try and make sure your weight's on your heels, so you should be able to still wiggle your toes. And just let it relax, remember to breathe. If you can try doing a little figure of eights with your upper body as well. Just bring it back to the center. If you can, get your hands down to the ground. If you can't, you can grab onto your legs if you need to stabilize. Just gently pulsing towards the floor. You should feel the stretch up the back of the legs. Again, making sure your weight's on your heels, not on your toes. And now just turning to one leg, grabbing it wherever you can, pulling the body over to the side. And the other side. Alright, just bringing it up slowly. So just focusing a little bit on the feet now. So just starting with rolling the feet over onto the floor. Just stretch it to where you can. This one's really just to stretch the top of the foot. So just rotate it over. Give it a bit of a roll on the toes if you can. Stretch it out a bit. Same on the other side. I don't know about you, I can hear my toes cracking. You might be able to hear them. Giving a bit of a roll. Coming onto the other side, so just stretching up onto the balls of the feet. Just one at a time, take it easy. If you want, you can do double, so just really stretching up, pulling up through the body. Really warming up those toes, so work from outside or face them in, or do both. Just warming them up. Okay. Just gentle ankle rotations, just in one direction. If you need to, grab onto something to steady yourself, and the other way. Other foot. Other way. Alright, so just last one to finish the warm up. Stretching up to the sky. Breathe in. And let go. Breathe in. And let go. Breathe in. And let go. Breathe in. Let go. One last one, breathe in. Hold it up here. Stretch up to the ceiling. And slowly let that breath out. Okay. I think we're probably ready to start some exercises. Okay, so we're just going to go through some basic footwork and the totsubui. Obviously you know your own space better than I do, so if you don't have enough room to do all the footwork, just modify it. Same thing with the strikes. You'll probably notice I don't actually have a naginata here. Mine's still back at the dojo, which under quarantine I can't go collect. And even if I could, I can't use my kata one in here because I am going to hit the ceiling. So obviously use whatever you've got at hand that's useful, or just imagine it if you need to. I'm sure you've already learned to adapt during quarantine at this point anyway. So just follow along as best as you can. As I said, modify anything you need to. Ready? Chudo no Kamae. Ayumi ashi. Mai. Ayumi ashi. Ato. Ayumi ashi. Mai. Ayumi ashi. Ato. Tsugi ashi. Mai. Tsugi ashi. Mai. Tsugi ashi. Ato. Tsugi ashi. Ato. Okure ashi. Mai. Mai. Ato. Ato. 前前、あと、あと、前前、あと、前、あと、あと、前、前、あと、前、あと、次足前、次足前、次足あと、次足あと、これ足前、前、前、あと、あと、前、右に開き、左に開き、右に開き、左に開き、前、あと、右に開き、右に開き、左に開き、左に開き、前、あと、前、振り上げて、目の腕、目の腕、目の腕、振り上げて、すねを腕、すねを腕、腕を腕、腕を腕、側面の腕、側面の腕、左右目の腕、左右目の腕、Again, for the next few, if you don't have the space, feel free to put down whatever you're using as a naginata and just do it without. So this will be for do and furikayashi. So just give you a minute if you do need to put it down. Furikayashi, me no ute. Furikayashi, sune o ute. Do ute. Do ute. Jogeburi, hajime. Make sure your back heels aren't crossing over when you step back. Think about squeezing the thighs and the knees together as you come forward. Uchikata. Remember to breathe. Uchikata. Yame. Kuriashi. Mai. Kuriashi. Ato. Me no ute. Now re. Re. Arigatou gozaimashita. So for the next set of exercises, I'm just going to work through moving between different kamae. So we'll start in hidari no kamae, churo no kamae, geru no kamae, waki no kamae, jora no kamae, chura no kamae, hasu no kamae, chura no kamae, I'm going to start speeding it up a little bit, so I'm just going to call out the name rather than Kamae. Waki, Geda, Chura, Hustle, Jora, Waki, Hustle, Chura, Hustle, Jora, Waki, Hustle, Chura, Geda, Chura, Geda, Hustle, Geda, Chura, Waki, Jora, Chura, Hustle, Chura, Geda, Hustle, Waki, Jora, Chura, Hustle, Chura, Hustle, Chura, Waki, Jora, Chura, Geda, Chura, Hustle, Chura, Waki, Jora, Chura, Hustle, Chura, Hustle, Chura, Geda, Chura, Hustle, Waki, Jora, Chura, Hustle, Geda, Hustle, Waki, Jodan, Chudan, Hustle, Geda, Chuda. Okay. We're going to change it into Migi no Kamae. I'm going to do the same thing again. So we'll start off slow, we'll build up. So from Chudan no Kamae, Hustle no Kamae, Jodan no Kamae, Waki no Kamae, Hustle no Kamae, Chudan no Kamae, Geda, Chudan no Kamae, Geda no Kamae, Jodan no Kamae, Waki no Kamae, Hustle no Kamae, Chudan no Kamae, Geda no Kamae, Chudan no Kamae, Hustle no Kamae, Chudan no Kamae, Hustle no Kamae, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Hustle, Geda, Chudan, Jodan, Chudan, Hustle, Waki, Hustle, Geda, Chudan, Jodan, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Waki, Jodan, Waki, Hustle, Chudan, Geda, Chudan, Hustle, Jodan, Waki, Chudan, Geda, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Jodan, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Geda, Chudan, Waki, Chudan, Jodan, Chudan, Geda, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Hustle, Chudan, Geda, Chudan, Waki, Chudan. Now that. Okay, so the next set of exercises I wanted to try out with you is just some Shikaki Oji kata, but doing it in Migi no Kamae. A lot of the times we're very used to practicing in Hadari no Kamae, and it gets very easy to just do it a little bit by rote, not really thinking about what it is we're trying to achieve. And since Naginata is an art where we should be able to do everything on both sides, I do occasionally like to make my students do the Shikaki Oji kata in Migi no Kamae, just to break up that habit of doing things as a pattern. Another good way of helping to break that pattern, which I'm not going to do right now, is changing the order you do the kata in. Sometimes I'll make us do it from number 8 backwards, but maybe every second one, so it might be every even number, 8, 6, 4, 2, and then 7, 5, 3, 1. If I'm feeling really horrible, I'll make them do it Migi no Kamae as well. But this is just a good way of really thinking about what you're doing in each kata, and making sure your technique is good, and that you're really visualizing what your partner is doing too, so that you're moving as one, you're working as one, and especially when you're the oji, that you're trying to make your partner look as good as possible, to try and help them achieve as high as they can. So we're just going to be doing the shikaki side of it for the moment, just in Migi no Kamae, so I'll be doing that side as well. And then, depending on what time I get to, I might swap it around and I'll act as the oji, and you can do shikake, but we'll see how we go. So because the door cuts will make it a bit more difficult if you've got small amounts of room, we're going to do the order as 1, 2, and 4. Then I'll give everyone a chance to pick up another weapon or not use one at all to do 3 and 5. So we'll go 1, 2, 4, 3, and 5. Alright, so starting in Naore, Re, Shura no Kamae, Migi no Kamae. So we're going to be doing the same thing. Just make sure you've got enough room in front of you. If you need to, just modify the size of your steps. So, 1本目、その振り上げて面、パスをして。面、snip. They've moved their back. They're doing cut to men, retreating. We pull back to face them. 4 steps back. And again. Snip. Snip. Pulling back. Nihon me. Furiake snip. Passo me. Oops. I'm going to pause that. My apologies, there'll be a bit of jump in the video just there because depending on where I was holding this, I actually ended up smashing the ceiling. So I'm going to go back and do Nihon me. So, furiagete sne, passo me. Sne. Me. They've stepped back, I've done snare, and again, snare, snare. Number 4, so yohome. So we're going into hustle, very deep snare, making sure you're reaching for the correct distance, pulling back to receive a men cut, giving them a harai, and just making sure you're staying open to receive the cut. So, yohome. Snare. Uchido. Snip. Okay, so we'll do number 3 and number 5 now. If you need to, pop down whatever you're using as a naginata. If you don't have the room to do a door cut, imagine it, that's all good. If you do have room, obviously try and use it, but make allowances for not being able to make as big a foot movement necessarily. So, 3本目。脇の部分。 お、receive furai, furikashi men, dodonmake toshi. Back, coming back to chudan. Oh, men. So obviously number 5 is very similar to number 3, especially when you're shikake. What will just be happening is we'll be receiving differently, and so we'll do it anyway. Never hurts to practice that side, even if it is basically the same as what we've just done. So, waki no kamae. Oh, furikashi men. Go for ski. Once more. Oh, men. Okay, so this time we're going to do those same 5 Shikaki Oji kata. I will still be doing the Shikaki side of it, but what I'd like you to do is do the Oji roll. So you'll be receiving, responding to my attacks. If you prefer, you can just continue doing the Shikaki roll, but I always find it's a really good opportunity to swap it over and just practice with someone, even if they aren't really there. Obviously, you have to bear in mind there'll be a bit of difference in time lag, so just use whatever you can see on the screen in front of you. So I'll try and leave a little bit more time after my part to give you time to do yours as the Oji. Okay, so 1, 2, 4, 3 and 5. Again in Migi no Kamae. So, rip, Chun no Kamae, Migi no Kamae, Ippo. Remember, you'll be acting as the Oji, preferably, but again, feel free to stay with the Shikaki roll, which is what I'll be doing. Ippo. Men! Snip! Uichido. Men! Snip! Nihome. Snip! Men! Uichido. Snip! Men! Yohomo. Snip! Uichido. Snip! Okay, so number 3 and 5, again, if you need to, drop whatever you're using or exchange it for something shorter or imagine it. So number 3, 3, and number 5. Sunbomb. Oh! Mitt! Gómez. And again, wait. Oh! Mitt! Number 5. So, open. Oh! Mitt! Which one? Oh! Mitt! Gotta get this much done. Okay, so the next thing that we're just going to do is a little bit of, I guess, target practice. So I'm going to act as the motodachi, opening up targets, and I just want you to take whatever opportunity you see. So some of you might see men, some of you might see kote or snake, door, ski, but do your own thing. Look for what target you see as the most opportune. Try a few things out. I'm going to do this for maybe a minute or two, and then what I'm going to suggest is that you actually stop this video, stop sharing on the screen, and then rotate through whoever's in the Zoom session to act as motodachi. So all of you pin them as your main screen, and they'll provide openings. So I suggest maybe do 30 seconds, and then nominate someone else in the Zoom session to act as motodachi, just so everyone's getting a bit of a go. You're seeing how different people open. Obviously, if you can, it helps if you nominate someone who's got a fairly clear visual and can actually face directly forward. So however many people can do it will vary, but I will leave that up to you. So I'm just going to start some basic openings, fairly slow, maybe just one opening, come back to chudan, then maybe a few more openings, return to chudan, and just pick up the pace a little bit as well. Alright, so just whatever works for you, whatever openings that you see. Alright. a minute. About it. So, as I said, what I'm going to suggest now is that you stop the video, pause the video, stop sharing the screen on Zoom, and I'm going to nominate Charlotte, since I know that she will be in the session, to be the next motodachi for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, however long you like, and then whoever she nominates can nominate someone else, and so on and so forth, until you decide you want to move to the next exercise. So I'm not going to say how many people you do this for, I'm not going to say how long you do it for, I'm going to leave that up to you. I know we're not in the same room or time frame or anything, but I do like to make my sessions pretty interactive, and I do like to give everyone an opportunity to lead and act as motodachi, so you're going to get a bit more of this in the next exercise too. Okay, so building on that exercise, this time I'm going to make an attack, just a single attack. It may be men, kote snei, do. I'll be as surprised as you are. I want you to try and either block or deflect or step out of the way of the attack. If you read it wrong, it's obviously not a big deal, you're not going to get hit. And then I want you to come up with a response in return, an attack in return, based on what you see as open. So everyone will probably be doing something a little bit different. Great, that's fine. I'm going to do this for maybe a minute or so, and then I'm going to do like we did the last exercise. I'm going to nominate Charlotte to be the next motodachi. She's going to make an attack, exactly the same, and then when she's done it for a little bit, she can nominate someone else in the Zoom session to take that role. So again, just passing it around the room so everyone's having an opportunity to participate in this side of the exercise too. Alright, let's see how we go. Men. Snip. Snip. Boop. Snip. Men. Snip. 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 Dip. Men. Boop. Men. Snip. Men. Men. Snip. Men. Snip. Got it? Okay, Charlotte, over to you. Okay, so I actually have no idea how long this will have taken, because it is going to depend on how many of you are in the Zoom session, how many passes around you did for some of those exercises. But I'm going to start leading us out of this session. So we're just going to do a little bit of a brief warm down with Jogeburi. Really focus on your breathing, try and make sure your line is nice and centered. Really think about pulling up tight when you come to the front so that your knees and your thighs are pulling together. That'll help bring everything locked in underneath the body. and make sure you're pulling back and letting your hand stop the motion when you come to that front leg. But as well, just really focus on your breathing, really smooth it out, use it as a moment to really focus on your technique, but also to let go of anything that you're holding on to as well. All right. Jogeburi. Hajime. Uchikata. Uchikata. Yame. Nare. Rip. Just going to pop this down. Okay, so again, depending on how much time you've got left, and if you want to do this next bit, I'm just going to do a brief warm down just to make sure your muscles are stretched out after the session. So I'm just going to grab a mat. I'm back in a second. Okay, so warm down for anyone who is still here, or if you still have time. Otherwise, feel free to cut this short and throw it out the window. Alright, so just starting with the head again, just get some nice big circles around. And the other way. And grabbing the fingers, lacing them behind your head, and just letting gravity pull your elbows down towards your chest. Try and let your back sort of curve out a little bit. You should get a bit of an increased stretch. Release. Feet apart. Knees out over the toes. Again, just as deep as you can go comfortably. Gentle pulse. Loosen up those muscles. Loosen up the hip flexors. And gently side to side if you can manage it. Come back to the center. Turn the feet forwards. And again, just let your body weight pull you down. Make sure the weight is on your heels rather than your toes. And just try and enjoy the stretch. So loosen the jaw, so open the mouth, let it relax as well. Let your hands drop down to the ground, just gently pushing or pulsing up and down if you can manage it. Otherwise, just hold where it is, that's fine. This time, just taking your arms, sort of gentle figure of 8 motion, so you're stretching towards each leg, coming through the center, bringing it back. come back to the centre, and just let it hang. If you can manage it, put your hands on the ground and gentle sort of bend the knees and then stretch back up. Bend, straight, bend, straight. 2 more. So turning around just into a gentle lunge. Again, whatever depth works for you. Keeping this back mostly straight so the back foot is pressed up. And just gently bending into that. Pulling it back, so pulling back towards that heel. If you can't manage the pressure on the back heel, that's fine, leave it flat and just stretch down towards that leg. Otherwise, try and flex it up and do a similar movement. Relax. Turning around to the other side. Same thing again, gentle lunge. And pulling back on that foot. So depending on your balance, obviously whichever one works better for you. And release. Coming down to the ground. So hopefully you've got enough space for this one. What you're wanting is to go into a neutral position, so hands underneath shoulders, knees below hips, so just a bit of a square. And we do what's called, I guess, cow and cat pose, I think it is. So this one, what you're trying to do is press down in the smaller back, really stretch it out, and opening up the chest as you bring your head up. So breathe it in. And then as you return the other way, think about pulling up through your centre, pulling to create a strong head, so you should feel it across your back as your head drops. And change over. And change. Change. And again. Just coming back to a neutral position. Just going to loosen up the hips a little. So this might look a bit odd, but all you're doing is just sort of gentle circles behind and in front. So just circling those hips around. And the other way. Keeping your hands on the ground. Prop your toes up. We're just going to go into downward dog. So pressing back on those feet, trying to push the heels towards the floor. Feel the stretch across your upper arms and back of your legs. But again, only do what's comfortable for you. Don't have to push it further than you can. Just walking the knees, one at a time. So feeling the stretch in each leg. Bring it back to neutral. Come back down to the ground. So coming onto a sitting position. Doesn't really matter which leg's in front at this point. What we're doing is trying to make sure that they're relaxed, they're pushing down towards the floor. We're just going to reach forward with our arms. You can use them to try and inch forward a bit. Just again, as far as you can manage. Feel the stretch up the back of the arms and along the legs. And bring it back. Putting one leg out in front of you. Bring the other foot over the top. And then bring the other arm to pull that knee back as you turn across it. So you should be getting a stretch sort of up this area as well. And release, changing it over. So swap it over, pull it back, rotate. And release. Feet in front of you, toes flexed if you can manage it. All we're going to be doing is bring arms up, coming down, only as far as you can, and then bring the arms out. So it's going to be a circling motion, so out, and up, down, out, up. Two more. last exercises I like to do, take your one ankle, put it over the, or behind the knee of the other one. And all you're doing is you're using your back hands to try and push you closer to that leg. You can bring that front leg in a bit more. And think about pushing this knee down towards the other toes. So you're stretching out. Try not to let your back curl over. Try and keep it upright. So you may need to move your arms further out to prop you up. So you should be getting a really good stretch up through here. And release. So changing over, that knee comes up now, other foot comes over the top. And again, just to whatever point you can feel the stretch, but you're not hurting. So pushing in towards that leg. Release. Gently or slowly coming up from the floor. So just a couple of the last exercises that we did at the beginning, more about breathing, just letting everything go. So feet apart, bring the arms up, breathe in, and release. Last one, in and out. Bring the arms up, bring the feet together. Going to basically grab your elbows, put one foot behind, and then stretch towards that foot. So you're getting the stretch along that side of the body. And change it over, so other foot behind now. Okay, last one, I promise. So just up, and you're just going to breathe up, reach right up to the ceiling, and when you drop, you're going to let everything go. Your knees, your hips, your arms, your upper body. Let all the air out, let all the tension out, and then just let momentum bring you back up. So breathe in, and release. Breathe in, and release. Last one. Alright, well if you stuck around for this long, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to try and take a session for you. I hope it made sense. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, bye from Melbourne.